Hi, we're here on a beautiful sunny day in London to chat to one of our students, Tijani. He's been through the Boolean journey and he's now started a career as a software developer, so we're here to find out a little bit more about him and what he's up to. So let's get going. Hey Tijani.
Hi, coming down.
Cool. Hey Tijani, how you doing? Good to see you.
You?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, not too bad. Should we go for a little wander?
Yeah, let's
nice.
go through that.
This direction, cool. Thank you so much for making the time to chat with me today. I'm really excited to get to know a bit more about your journey here with us at Boolean. So maybe a great place to start is at the end.
Okay.
What are you up to at the moment?
At the moment, I work as associate engineer at a company called Triptease, and it's basically a junior developer role.
Great. And talk me through, what does that actually mean day to day? What's a typical day looking like for you as a junior developer?
So a typical day starts around 8:30 o'clock. Everyone at Triptease have a learning hour.
Cool.
So I take mine every morning from 8 till 9.
Nice.
And then, because we have our stand-up at the end of the day, then I will jump on a Zoom. We have a Zoom where we all meet.
Cool.
And have a chat about what the plans that we're going to do for today. Cool. And then we go into our pairs.
Nice.
And then we pair till about like 12 to 1 o'clock.
Wow.
Break for lunch and then back pairing again. And sometimes they're meetings, but most of the times we just pair and work on the little tickets that we have. My team consists of 6 people,
Okay.
and in Triptease we have like different squads that represent different teams.
Nice.
And my team then consists of mostly senior developers.
Wow. Okay.
Which is amazing because I get to learn a lot, and I also get to feel a little bit of dumb every day. So that's
It must be interesting to have you've done Postgres, for example, and TypeScript and React and Node. You've done all these languages at Boolean, and now you're using them in the real world.
Oh yeah.
How different is it, actually doing it in a kind of a real environment?
It is quite different because the learning curve is very steep.
Sure.
In terms of the size of the project. Although I am touching a very small sample size of the project, it's still quite big and bigger than what we did at Boolean. But because of the fact that we've been exposed to these languages, it makes it feel nice and easy to kind of get into it.
Great. Whoop. It's all right. So maybe you can tell me a little bit about what are some of the things that are the hardest thing about being a software developer?
The hardest thing is getting to understand something and then the next day feeling like you don't understand it. But that's also one of the joys of it and one of the reasons why I love it.
And I guess on the flip side then, obviously being a software developer is very different maybe to your previous work and what you were doing before. What are some of your favorite things about being a software developer?
Is the working together, the collaboration you get, and the sharing of knowledge. I think is something that still to this day amazes me. From the first day at my bootcamp at Boolean to my first day at work, it's all about knowledge sharing, and for me, it's just amazing that people are willing to create something and then share that knowledge of that with you.
So, thinking a little bit about your kind of first weeks at work, because you've been there how long now?
3 months.
3 months. Wow, time flies.
Yes, it does.
Going back to those first few weeks, how was it at the start? What were your first feelings? What were your first thoughts? Actually, turning this dream into a reality.
It was amazing. My first day was actually a company get-together day. Cool. So we got in and got to meet every single person there, wow. Which was really nice, and we had good kind of team building exercises. So it felt like I already knew everyone, nice. Although we are a very remote team.
Sure.
The first week, the first month was just trying to understand more about the business actually, rather than the code base that I'm going to be working on, which is now what I'm doing more of. But it's been amazing. Hard but amazing.
And thinking a little bit about your interview process, if you can remember that period, you know, when you finished Boolean and then when you were looking for a job, do you remember what that was like? Do you remember kind of how many interviews you went for? Do you remember kind of, you know, what that process was, how that was?
The preparation in terms of how to present ourselves out there, write our CVs, write our LinkedIn profile, set it up to date, how to connect with not only recruiters but also our peers. That was really good, and had like sessions with a career coach at Boolean to kind of like go through the process of applying. So I think I went through like 4 or 5 second interviews after a coding practice, but in total I must have, you know, applied for at least 50, 60 jobs.
And so just rewinding back a little bit, so pre-Boolean, what were you doing before you joined us?
So I was in marketing and really enjoyed it, but I felt like I wanted to do something else.
Yeah.
And during that time as well, I worked with a group of developers, and I asked them loads of questions.
Nice.
And you know, this told me to try it, and I did try it, and I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
So when the opportunity came to join Boolean, after meeting with you and reading more about how the course was structured, it was an easy pass, easy yes.
Yeah. And any advice that you might give to someone who's thinking about doing the course or is thinking about even learning to code in general?
Don't feel discouraged. Enjoy the process. Trust the process, especially when the teachers, your coaches, you know, tells you and how things are, why things are the way they are, how to go about doing things. Just trust them. They know what they're doing, and it will just come. It will come.
Shall we head back and have a look at your setup, your work from home setup?
Yep, let's do that.
Awesome. Nice. So this is your work from home setup.
Yes, that's it. A MacBook Pro, decent monitor, keyboard and mouse. Yeah, perfect.
Awesome, awesome. And this was supplied by Triptease?
Yes.
Great, great. So they've kitted you out nicely.
Yeah, they made sure that I have everything that I need.
And you were telling me you're a bit more on the back end rather than the front end.
Yes, as with Boolean, we did a full stack where we did like both the front end and the back end. However, in this role, and especially at this moment, we only focus on the back end, which you know, I enjoy, but not as much as the front end. But I'm really enjoying this because I still have to get to experience this visual thing that I am, because I'm a very visual person.
Yeah.
So I get to see the changes that I'm doing
Sure.
due to the testing that we're doing all the time.
Nice.
Of our code.
Tijani, thank you so much for showing us around. It's been a real pleasure to get to hear a bit about your story. And thanks so much, Tijani. Cheers.
Cheers.